8 years ago.
Well, there's been some great tip-in artists in the past.
Yeah.
Like, I always think of Dino Ciccarelli. He would just stand there and tip pucks. But the fact now that you can stand in front of the goalie and not, get cross-checked and slashed, it has lent itself to more skilled players being the ones that tip the puck. But I'm looking at the stats, and the real fascinating stat is without a great power play, we're 8th in the NHL for goals for. So we're doing quite well offensively despite a struggling power play.
Yeah, and we're also seeing the defense jump up a lot. Giordano's racking up the points, really playing strong. Brody, I think he's up to some assists as well. So contributions from the D help out a lot, but the Flames top line is just a point machine right now, which is great to watch.
It is really great.
Yeah, Lindholm, Monahan, he was the first star last week. NHL first star, just a bunch of pretty goals. And Goodrow, I mean.
and we talked a lot last season about the Flames couldn't find the third piece of the top line.
Yeah.
And now it's not even a question. No one even discusses. Yeah. Lindholm fit in so perfectly on that top line.
Yeah, the first line is solidified. We saw the second line, they dropped Felique, brought up Neil, and he seems to be working his way into fitting that spot.
Well, you pay a guy $6 million. He's always played on the first or second line. And then you put him on the third and then criticize why he's not scoring. Well, maybe he requires someone to pass it to him. Because he is just a goal scorer. He's not a great checker.
Not a fast skater.
No, he's a finisher. So maybe playing him. But the sort of devil's advocate of that is Frolik has 7 goals.
Yeah.
So, I know it's a long contract next season. The season after that, you don't know where he fits in. But at least this first season, he does seem to be a little bit of like a square peg trying to go in a round hole.
I have no problem putting him on the second line with Backlund and Kachuk and having Frolik on third, because Frolik's the kind of player that will give life to whoever he's playing with. So it's going to boost the play of those third line guys.
My only comment on that is I like Jankowski, Bennett, and Neal. I thought that was a really good line.
Yeah.
And Jankowski, we talk about who's our boy, and you were saying Dubé. Jankowski's my boy. I like Jankowski. And, I thought Neal and Bennett and him could really get some chemistry developed, but...
Well, you only thought that because you figured that's a good way for Bennett to get some points.
To break the 30-point mark.
Yeah. Going back to that, I'm still wondering if I'm going to win that one again.
Yeah, he started so strong.
Betting against your own team that you're supporting doesn't feel great, but it just, I don't know.
But he started strong, though. It looked like he was going to get like a 40, 50-point season, and then he kind of, offensively, he goes quiet. So we'll see what ends up happening with Bennett.
And we'll see.
Are you ready to meet another mascot? This week on Meet a Mascot, we go north to our arch rivals, the Edmonton Oilers. The Oilers mascot is a Canadian lynx named Hunter, who was unveiled on September 26, 2016. The name gives a tribute to the original Oilers owner, William Wild Bill Hunter. Hunter wears the number 72 on its jersey, referencing the year the Oilers were established. Hunter has a portable drum in which he uses to entertain the crowds and make them chant, "Let's go Oilers."
Oh, how original.
Yeah, pretty groundbreaking mascot.
Beating the drum.
I'm surprised too, 2016, that's 2 years ago.
Yeah, he's brand new.
If you compare it to Calgary, who basically invented the mascot,
It seems that you'd think Edmonton would pick it up right away, but no. They had they still have the Octane girls.
No, they don't have them anymore.
They took them away?
Yeah. During the 2010-2011 season, the Oilers introduced the Oilers Octane, the first cheerleading squad for a Canadian NHL team. The cheer team was initially not greeted with enthusiasm by all fans. Over 1,500 people signed an online petition against it, suggesting the women did not improve the game experience. In August 2016, the team announced they were discontinuing the Octane.
It seems strange, but maybe it's more of an American audience kind of thing to have cheerleaders in skimpy clothes walk around. I don't know.
Right, but when they say some fans felt it did not improve the game experience, I think we know which fans those were.
Would it improve your game experience?
Definitely. When I went to the Stamps game this year, and my friend and I decided, okay, we want to sit row 1. Like, we've never sat row 1 before. And, of course, it's a little cheaper if you go towards the end zones. So I think we were on about, like, the 10-yard line.
Yeah, the girls right in front of you.
Yeah, exactly. And it enhanced my experience. So I think, some people say cheerleading is kind of old-fashioned, but I'm a fan.
I mean, when there's no action to pay attention to, why not look at some girls?
Yeah, and they're cheerleaders. They increase the cheer. It's good for the in-game experience. Agreed.
Looking at Hunter here, he looks a little more ferocious than that Phoenix douche. What was that guy's name again?
I forget. Howler.
I think this Lynx can definitely kick his ass.
Yeah. So, because we've had Wild Wing, Harvey, Howler, and now Lynx. You think you put them 4 in a room? Hunter. Hunter's coming out of the room.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he'll definitely rip Harvey's tongue out.
He's got those teeth.
Okay, should we do some comment board heroes?
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so this is Comment Board Heroes, where we filter through the internet, go to the deepest, darkest places, and find the best comments of the week on the Flames and hockey in general. So one of the big stories this week is there were 2 coaches fired.
That's right.
The first one was John Stevens. Before we get to the story, should we maybe pay tribute to a fallen comrade?
John Stevens?
Yes, John Stevens. I remember him the most for Philadelphia when he took them to the Stanley Cup Finals.
I barely remember him at all.
Yeah, I think he was assistant in LA for a few years, for the Stanley Cups anyways, and then he took over from Sutter, and just over a year later, he is now unemployed.
He didn't win any cups with LA.
No. As an assistant coach, he did. But, yep, so we pay tribute to John Stevens, and now we go to the comment. This is from C. Turns. He says, the oldest team in the league, that's why they suck. Nothing to do with coaching.
They are an old team.
Yeah, I haven't watched them enough to really comment on the coaching level, but the age is a huge factor.
Yeah, no doubt. And just makes the whole decision to bring Kovalchuk in to improve the team look even more ridiculous.
You bring in like a 35-year-old guy and he brings down the age of your team.
Granted, he's playing all right too. He's not playing bad.
No, and like he was super skilled when he was younger. And he's sort of in the James Neal category. He's a great goal scorer. So if you have good players around him, he'll score goals. But they're probably, if I'm going to predict now, they're the number 1 contenders for the basement of the league.
Who'd they appoint for their new coach?
Oh, Willie
Desjardins.
Yeah, former Vancouver's coach.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got a big ship to turn around, so let's see if he can take his team better. But at least not on Saturday when the Flames will trounce them.
Yeah, let's hope so. Okay, should we
move on to Coach Q being fired? The great Coach Quenneville.
Yes.
3 Stanley Cups, 10 years, 3 Stanley Cups.
Yeah, and
he was there for the dynasty. He was part of the dynasty.
Yeah, and not just that, he had a great mustache.
Yeah. He was a good coach, great with the media. We're going to see him on another team fairly shortly.
Oh, I'm sure he could coach as soon as he wants to, I think.
Yeah.
I think there's a few teams would like to hire him. I think it's more he's going to wait and pick the right spot.
True. And the comment here is by Bert Starmy.
Bert Starmy.
Mike Yo is sitting on toilet reading Twitter and sweating his balls off right now.
Yeah, well, I guess that's a double because St. Louis isn't doing so well.
Coach Q, former coach of the St. Louis Blues.
Yeah, I think he was there for like 10 years.
Yeah.
I remember him coaching Al McInnes, and when that Blues team was quite good.
It almost feels like a time where Mike Yo should be sweating a bit, but I doubt if Quenneville goes back, but it's not unprecedented for coaches to return.
No, we've seen it in Montreal and in Anaheim.
All right, then. Sakyami, if you can, commented, 3 cups can only keep you employed for so long.
Yeah, it's amazing how quick people get turned on in this business.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, puts coaching kind of like in a volatile situation. Yeah. I mean,
what have you done for me lately?
Yeah, I don't know much about the profession, about how much they contribute to a team's success and failure. I know it's a big portion. I mean, they're driving the team, but when a team's doing bad, how much can you pin on a coach is pretty much just speculation. Unless you're part of the organization.
And I think the reason they get fired so much is because you can't fire players. Like, the contracts are guaranteed. General managers aren't going to fire themselves. So the easiest and biggest impact you can have is fire a coach. Because as you say, they drive the ship. So it does have a big impact, and it's very easy to switch the coaches. But the one thing I think I'm going to enjoy about this season is last year no coaches were fired in season, which is very rare. But I think that makes this like a very ripe season.
A breakout.
So far we've had 2 tributes this week.
Yeah.
And we could see a lot more. So this could be quite an interesting year for coaches getting fired.
It's possible. There's a lot of jumping around in the standings so far.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there.
Other news, the Ottawa Senators, again, in the news for all the wrong reasons. Some players were in an Uber mocking assistant coach. I think his name was Mason Raymond. No, not Mason. Something Raymond.
Yeah.
I forget his first name. But anyways, they were sort of criticizing the power play, the penalty kill.
Yeah,
and
special teams.
Yeah, not a great PR moment for the Senators.
Well, it's not even a PR moment. It's filming a candid conversation.
Right, but you could always make the argument that like everyone complains about their boss or their coworkers,
which they have, and which people understand on top of that.
Yeah, and they didn't really say anything that bad.
No,
they were just critical.
A frustrated team expressing or conversing in the back of what they think is a private conversation.
Exactly. So let me ask you before we get into the comments. Are you more disappointed that a private conversation kind of gets put out there as public, or are you more disappointed that players would say what they said in an Uber?
Neither really disappoints me. In fact, what I'm kind of glad for now, it's kind of disappointing when you think you're having a private conversation and becomes public, but it feels like the reaction to this news, the world is being like, yeah, we get it. I mean, people say shit in private. We're not going to hold their feet to the fire because of it. So
yeah, everyone can empathize because we've done the same thing.
Yeah, in fact, I saw a headline that the guy who filmed the Uber conversation posted it was regretting it right now, saying it was the worst decision of his life. I don't know how much meaning that has, but whatever.
But one of the positives out of this whole thing was, and it relates to the first comment, it's from year 1939, wrote, "Did someone say, boomeranged my Twiggy?"
I boomeranged my Twiggy into the glass. I was so mad.
I love that phrase, boomeranged my Twiggy.
That's gold. That's some good hot talk right